This is a Sapphire Nitro R9 Fury. This is a 4GB GPU based on the GCN 3.0 architecture, running something called HBM memory. This does have a very minor 2% overclock, which is basically a fake overclock, just so they can call it OC. Interestingly, this does not appear to have a boost clock. It's just running a static 1 gigahertz, and that's it. As you can see in the video shots, this is a very aesthetically pleasing design. I suspect it is related to the proportions of the video card being a fairly compact 2-slot design, but also on the longer side. This was a mid-2015 release GPU, meaning it would have been in direct competition with the GTX 980 and 980 Ti. It definitely loses to the 980 Ti. I find it is pretty comparable to the GTX 980. The cooling system is robust, with 4 large copper heat pipes running through 2 sets of aluminum fins and a 3-fan cooler. This also has an early implementation of the pass-through cooler design you see common in today's high-end GPUs. Looking at video output capabilities, this card does have the modern 3 DisplayPort plus 1 HDMI configuration with the ability to output to 4 monitors, which gives this GPU a lot of utility for non-gaming use despite its age. This can output 4K and would be an awesome option for something like a Plex server if you just have one laying around. This GPU does have somewhat robust power requirements, and whether or not it actually needs a full 375 watts of power, you should do it right and use 2 real 8-pin plugs. AMD does get this one right with a 600-watt PSU recommendation. Let's take a look at the testing configuration and then jump into game testing. The R9 Fury is a really interesting GPU. So it's another one of those GPUs that I wouldn't recommend you go out and buy it. Unfortunately, just like many of these GPUs, this bottoms out at $50. Generally speaking, a working R9 Fury, they go for $50. It's so stupid, but it is what it is. Maybe it's because it's a pretty GPU. I mean, it doesn't look like an 11-year-old piece of hardware, right? I mean, it looks like a reasonably modern piece of hardware. And that, in my opinion, unfortunately means that I couldn't recommend you buying it. Like I said, I mean, this, for what this is, for what you're going to do with it, for it to be worth buying, it would need to be like $20. 8 years ago, who thought you'd be saying something like this would be $20, right? But it is what it is today. Maybe tomorrow that'll be different. Maybe the whole market situation loses its mind. But today, $20 is all you should pay for this. But what this is it's a GPU where if you have the thing on hand already, it's an awesome option. If you have it on hand, you receive a computer with it, you find it on your local market for $10, $15, $20, even free in some cases. Sometimes people have these old things laying around and they'll just post them and be like, just come pick it up. That stuff does happen. So you get it under those circumstances, then we have something to talk about. So this is one of those GPUs where it's not quite ideal, but it kind of can go, it can run the older games, but also it can dabble in the newer games. As you're going to see in the game testing, we got Cyberpunk to playability on this. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say it was something beautiful. It wasn't, but it was absolutely playable. If you're gaming at 1080p, this was absolutely playable. However, I will say modern game support was pretty hit and miss. I had several different titles. I think perhaps all UE5 titles. I'm not positive, but Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered loaded and ran, and then a minute or two in it died, and then I couldn't get it to load again. It was really weird. It was running it okay, actually, and then it just poof. Star Wars Jedi Survivor, I thought maybe at the lowest low settings I might have been able to get playability of it, but same thing. It crashed before I could even load. And then, like I said, Cyberpunk ran fine. So it's definitely usable, but you're going to run into games every so often that you're either going to have to do some troubleshooting or you're going to have to deal with the fact that they can't play. So our testing that we did, there's no longer that GPU in here. I have a different GPU in here now. Some of you might recognize what's in there now, but so we tested in the 5800X 3D. Once again, I don't really like testing this way, but it's what I had on hand. 5800X 3D, 64 gigs of RAM. The games were all running off of a hard drive, not an SSD. So let's get into the game testing. I will show you how it runs, and you can say, hey, look at that awesome 11-year-old GPU running Cyberpunk poorly. Anyway, let's get into it. This is Cyberpunk 2077. So on this one, we're running as low as the settings will go. I did find that I was able to run it at either 1440p, or if I used the upscaling and the frame gen, we could run at like high settings. But the problem was, I find that these older GPUs, it's not a question of frame rate in some cases. It was able to hold decent frame rate. But the problem was the way it drew just wasn't very high quality. There was just I can't even explain it. There was a certain just, I don't know. It looked like film grain, but it wasn't film grain, almost like that. I think it's related to the way it does lighting and textures and stuff. Even though it's physically capable of running, it's like an older, I don't know, an older way of doing it. Something like that. I don't know exactly what it is, but I did find that running it at low settings, it was generally crisper. Even though some of the eye candy was less visible, it looks better. So on a setup like this, on a video card like this, and a really old GPU, I would recommend going with just dropping the settings as low as you can. The goal is to be able to physically run the game at a playable frame rate, not for it to be particularly pretty. This is an 11-year-old video card. It's kind of, or 10, 11, 11-year-old. This is a 2015 video card. So this is impressive as it sits. Anyway, I think this gives you guys a good idea. And let's move on to the next one. This is Battlefield 1. Oh, that's funny. When you use the volume, it screws with the graphics. That's actually kind of interesting. This is our overlay or something. That happens sometimes. I've seen that on a few games, and it manifests differently on different systems. Anyway, though, so this is Battlefield 5 running at the Ultra setting. Obviously, with it running this well, you'd definitely be able to run 1440 if you really wanted to. But as I've said before with these builds, I am trying to look at it as a 1080p build. It's not a it's not a 1440p machine. But this is pretty crazy though, because it is a game that came out 3 years after the GPU, and the GPU was kind of an older architecture even when it was new. So obviously the game is fairly well optimized. I mean, I think this is pretty impressive. It doesn't really look that bad compared to like what you'd expect out of normal games either. And remember, these are Nazis. We can kill Nazis because Nazis are bad. Anyway, though, I think this gives you guys a good idea of what we're looking at on Battlefield 5. So let's move on to the next one. This is Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and we are currently having a minor glitch. Oh, that's interesting. I've seen a few glitches like that with this GPU. Maybe that's what people are talking about by glitches when driver support ends. Okay, but to be fair, this GPU is 11 years old, so, you know. But interestingly, this driver and the game and the GPU all fall within the same age range, so yeah, I don't know if that's a reason. So it's running 1080p, medium settings. I think it may have put it on what they called the, quote, high setting, but it was like right in the middle. This is one of those games that has like high, really high, ultra high, highest, like, oh, that's weird. Oh, apparently I'm at the edge of the world. Where am I? Oh, okay, I ran up against the mountain. Oops. But it's running really nice. I got to admit. It did run at 1440, but as I keep saying, I'm intending this as a 1080p build because most games aren't going to run well at 1440, so. And I intentionally put us right in this foresty area because it tends to really drag the frame rate down, so. Oops. Yeah, no, this is definitely playable. This is the lowest I usually want to run the settings, though. I don't really like going on low settings on this game. This and Origins, I think, look kind of bad on the low setting. But at medium, it's fine. Okay, let's move on to the next one.
Mortals communication systems.
This is Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Currently running on the medium preset at 1080p resolution. Interestingly, this is a game that actually apparently doesn't look bad with the video stretched. I'm running it on a 4K 32 that I'm actually looking at, and it actually doesn't look bad. Dang it. I have no memory as to how to use all the special features. Q, maybe? Oops, that was one of my dudes. I think it was one of my dudes. Let's see here. It's been a while since I played this. I really meant to get into this. I actually really like this game, but I just haven't had a lot of chance to mess with it. Wait, is that my dude? Huh. I feel like I'm shooting my own people here. Pretty sure that this... Oh, I got him! Okay, so I think you guys have a pretty good idea of what kind of performance we're looking at on the Fury. Oh, and I'm dead. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This is The Witcher 3 running at 1080p resolution with the settings at medium. And then it is running on the FSR at the quality setting as well. So I did find that There doesn't appear to be the best balance of medium to high settings. If I put it on high, I saw it dropping down into the 30s, whereas with the medium setting, it's like 60, 70. It's probably a game that's fine at reasonably low frame rate. However, it looks pretty good with the way the settings are right now, and it's got good frame rate. So it's like, okay, I'll just leave it at this and get the performance gain. But it's definite. I mean, it's a good experience. The settings are kind of at a good balance of quality versus performance, and I honestly I can't complain about this. To be honest, it's actually running better than I would have expected, based on my experience with other hardware running this game. It's completely maxing the GPU. What was it to get my horse? Was it X? It was X. Oh, there you are. I don't actually play this that much, so I'm not super up on my short keys or shortcut keys on this. Okay, come on, horse, run. Okay, I think you guys have a good idea on The Witcher 3, so let's move on to the next one. This is the last one we're going to look at. This is Fortnite. It's running in 1080p performance mode. You pretty much just your standard competitive settings. Let's see if I can actually survive. I haven't been doing too good on this game lately. Guy's probably going to kill me. Maybe that's a good sign, though. I mean, it might mean the fact that we have less bots now. I mean, you know, trade-off worth doing. I don't mind bots. What I mind is when they get it to the point where there's like so many bots that there's no real people. What is that? Ooh. Ooh, look at this. We have a victim. What was that? Let's see if I can hit with... Ooh, can I hit with this? Honestly, I suck at sniper rifles. Get him? Oh, I got him. Oh. Huh. They're probably going to kill me now, but hey, I'm actually impressed. I actually hit him while he was moving. I normally suck with these kind of guns. Oh, where's that other guy? He's got to be here somewhere. Okay, but I think this gives you guys a pretty solid idea. Fortnite's actually really playable. Lately, with the new DX12 performance mode they've got, they seem to have really done quite a bit on the performance optimization side. So it seems to run quite a bit better than it used to. But anyway, I hope you guys got a good idea of what you can expect out of the R9 Fury, and thanks for watching.